Hello everyone, Meteorologist Carly Smith is here and we are going to get started with this tropical update. Potential tropical cyclone 9. That is what we are tracking right now. That is the current name. Yes, this storm has a chance of becoming a hurricane, a pretty good one actually, in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll break that down coming up. But here are the rest of your headlines. No direct impact expected to Texas. However, rough seas and high current risk will be present late this week. Additionally, with the help of a cold front, we could see coastal flooding Thursday and into the weekend. Yeah, you heard that right. We've got a cold front. Unpacking all of those details in this live update. Make sure you share this with your friends and family, and here we go. Hello there everyone, happy Monday. Meteorologist Carly Smith here joining you live. Current time is 10:22 a.m., but this will all be fairly accurate until we start to see our next updates from the National Hurricane Center coming out. Additionally, locally right now here in Corpus Christi, we do have some spotty showers. It was just raining here at the station. That won't be accurate. That will be past news if you are rewatching this, but we've got a lot to unpack in the tropics. And so some important times to keep in note, especially if you have any plans traveling across the Gulf of Mexico in the coming days or to Florida or areas across the southeast. Big impacts expected that direction. So what we are unpacking here locally is any local impacts and additionally just the track, what all the different names mean, and all of those details. We've got them all here live. So first, this is what I showed on First Edition this morning. The name, if you were watching First Edition this morning, or any videos already up on KIIITV.com or our YouTube page, Roku, all of those things. This is Tropical Wave Invest 97L. That was the name it was designated this morning. At 10 a.m., they updated it to Potential Tropical Cyclone 9, and we'll break down what that means in just a second. However, this forecast is still accurate. These are your current spaghetti model data, spaghetti plot data for this system. And so what you see is all of those different models are still very much in agreement on a location landfall somewhere across the Florida Panhandle. The more in agreement these models are, the more confident the forecast is, and it's just showing all that confidence. Where we were so uncertain last Friday when I talked, now that we have an actual low that can be tracked out, and there's more confidence in the timing of a cold front and where this low pressure is setting up over Texas and the Arkansas area and where that high pressure is setting up over the Atlantic. All of the pieces are coming together now. It's kind of like when you have a puzzle and you just have like a few pieces, then all of a sudden you find all the other pieces. That's kind of how tropical forecasting works. You have to wait until you have all the pieces so you can get a better forecast. But what this is showing is by Wednesday morning, this storm will be entering the Gulf of Mexico, if not earlier. By Thursday, we could have landfall there in the Florida Panhandle. So now this storm has been upgraded technically to Potential Tropical Cyclone 9. So it still has 30-mile-per-hour winds. This is the current satellite radar, or just satellite data. We don't have radar down there. Current satellite data for this system. You can tell it's still a little lopsided, but it's starting to get a little bit more organized. Wind is 30 miles per hour, and it is moving north at 6 miles per hour with a pressure of 1,004 millibars. You get the name Potential Tropical Cyclone because it is a disturbance that is not yet a tropical cyclone. It's not yet organized enough to have all those designations: tropical depression, tropical storm, and hurricane. But it does pose a threat of tropical storm or hurricane conditions within the next 48 hours. The initial threat's going to be for areas of Cuba and across the Yucatan Peninsula, then eventually Florida and areas across the eastern Gulf of Mexico. And so we'll break down that now because we do have a forecast cone. So once again, here's our satellite data and all of the currents. This was all updated at 7 a.m. and then why did the name, I guess I never hit save on this. It's being updated on my other computer, so it is not going to want to let me update this. I'm so disappointed in myself, but I have posted this on my Facebook page, Carly Smith WX. check that out. It has all of the updated data. I am so sad I did not hit save. This is what happens when you go live and you have two different computer systems you have to use when you're going live and so forth. And then we have a wired mic, so I can't run away. This is just how things play out. But anyway, this should have the cone now. Nope. Why did it pick 8? We want 9. There we go. So here's the cone, and let's go ahead and change the name so it looks pretty. So there we have it. There's Tropical Storm 9 and the forecast cone. So, we can add, I added all of this stuff, and I don't think anyone really understands how disappointed I am that I did not hit save. But maybe you can relate. I'm sure we all have had a didn't hit save moment in our lives. But here we go. So this is the timeline. This is the National Hurricane Center forecast cone issued by the National Hurricane Center. They do an amazing job at issuing these forecast cones. Their center line tends to be more accurate than the models are forecast. So they do an amazing job. And so they are the experts. We're going to go with their forecast. The good news is this has no direct impact on Texas. Not worried about it whatsoever anymore. Whereas there was a little bit of a sign that it could try to go into the Bay of Campeche. That is no more. But what you do need to know is throughout the day on Tuesday, this could be upgraded to a tropical storm. And if it does reach, if and when it does reach tropical storm strength. So now you're starting to see those tropical storm warnings being issued because it is a potential tropical cyclone. We now have tropical storm warnings on the Yucatan Peninsula, and they're starting to get added across portions there of western Cuba. But what you see is tropical storm Helene. Helene is the next name on the list. So tropical storm Helene may be possible by Tuesday at 8 a.m. earliest. Then by Wednesday at 6 a.m., we could have a Category 1 hurricane there present in that kind of strait there between the Yucatan and Cuba. As it makes its way into the Gulf of Mexico, this storm is going to be an environment that could allow for strengthening to Category 2. The Gulf is very warm. Sea surface temperatures are running in the mid-80s across much of the Gulf of Mexico, so not ideal environment for limiting that tropical development. Shear is something we're going to have to keep an eye on, but right now 110-mile-per-hour winds expected by Thursday morning, and landfall anticipated somewhere there across the Big Bend region of Florida, the Florida Panhandle, anytime between Thursday at 8 a.m. and Friday at 8 a.m. So this is still over 48 hours to impact on the U.S., but less than 48 hours to impact Mexico and Cuba. And so that's why it does have the name Potential Tropical Cyclone 9 at this time. So that was a lot of words for just a name, but it's important just to keep emphasizing all of that because you never know. I mean, we've had several PTCs impact the coastal bend, and sometimes the impacts are greater than storms with names because they do bring heavy rainfall and coastal flooding and things like that. So locally, here are what our impacts are going to be. Waves, right? So right now, this storm is going to be so far into the eastern Gulf. If it continues to gain confidence in it strengthening stronger than Cat 2, then we could see higher waves here locally. But right now, the forecast guidance has me thinking we get 2 to 3 foot swells or 2 to 3 foot waves. They could be 5-6 feet out at our buoy, but I don't think right at our beach they're going to get that high. But that's going to increase our rip current risk because our period is going to get up to around 11 seconds. So 11-second periods, Thursday, Friday, high rip current risk. 1 to 2 foot waves with still an 8-second period on Saturday also continues to increase the rip current risk. Additionally, let me show you this in our wave height forecast. You see pretty light wave action. Then here's that storm with all of the spaghetti model chart showing really high wave action over there across Florida. So while the impact The greatest impact in terms of wind, especially, is going to be on that panhandle section of Florida likely, but possibly even the Big Bend region. There's still going to be the potential for surge, high surf, heavy rainfall across much of the Florida coastline there into the Gulf of Mexico. So not the best time to be going on vacation out that direction. If you know anybody, obviously they should be aware, but make sure they're aware of the storm that is headed that direction. If this scenario plays out, areas across, you know, Alabama, Mississippi would be on the cleaner side of the storm, whereas much of Florida is on the dirtier side of the storm, which does have the higher storm surge, the stronger wave action, the stronger winds, the heavier rainfall, the tornado risk all tends to be on that right side of the storm versus the left side of the storm. If you're getting northerly winds, your impacts are much less intense than areas where you're getting the southern winds. In this scenario, especially, it kind of changes based on the movement of the storm and the coastline it's impacting. But regardless, look at that. We are going to have northerly winds. Our wave height forecast here, 2 to 4 foot waves with this particular map and model, but it's those northerly winds I want you to pay attention to. The weather impact with those northerly winds is going to be dangerous currents. We're going to have a downshore wind, which not only is going to enhance our rip current risk, but also enhance that downshore wind or that downshore current where it's coming out of the north and moving south. So that's a current moving south that's parallel to the beach that will rush you away from where you're swimming. It'll make it hard to swim back and so forth. So we're going to have that downshore current, and additionally, when you get that downshore current setting up, that pushes water to the right of that current. So that enhances the risk for some at least minor coastal flooding and higher tides across Gulf-facing beaches especially, but possibly even getting pushed inland to our canals and bays and laguna and so forth. So that forecast will improve over time, but right now I just want you to be aware that minor coastal flooding is going to be possible. That will start once we get those northerly winds and once that storm is in the Gulf of Mexico. So that would be more Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and possibly even into the weekend. And then the rip current risk goes up because of the ripple effect coming from PTC 9, potential tropical cyclone 9. So here's our wind forecast. This is going to be faster. Brent, we use tropical tidbits in our forecasting. Thanks for the tidbit. But yeah, anything seeming to be hitting Florida Panhandle mid-October. So we got to get through this one first, Kayla. Way too far out to be making any mid-October forecast, that's for sure. But hopefully your vacation, if that's what you're asking about, goes well. For our wind forecast, here's the wind shifting out of the north, 10 to 20 miles per hour. That happens on Thursday. Additionally, what you see here is it's still hot. Our humidity drops Thursday, and the cold front moves through sometime on Wednesday, it looks like, but the humidity drop, all the impacts are going to be Thursday. So yes, cold front. We're now like 15 to 20 minutes into this live update, and we're finally talking about the cold front. So we'll focus more on this cold front tomorrow, but with the forecast cone being issued, I wanted to get all of that information out as soon as possible. And so that was the main headline of this and so forth. What you need to know is this front is going to bring drier air into the region. So right now we still have a chance for spotty showers because we still have tropical moisture in place. But as this front slides south, and through the region, drier air is going to move in. So a lot in play in this graphic. I love it though, but it's a little complicated. We get high pressure. So this is backwards because I'm looking at the screen and then it's flipped and so forth. But we have high pressure over El Paso that sets up. That, and combined with the low over Arkansas, is going to increase the northerly wind down the Lone Star State and bring in that continental air into South Texas, which is going to drop our humidity. But what it's not going to do is give us a big change in temperature because it's still kind of hot across the United States right now. This is not an Arctic low, right? It's not an Arctic cold front, But what it is going to do is it's cutting off from a deeper trough that's setting up over the eastern United States. It's cutting off from that, and so it's not pulling in deep, cold air, not yet at least, because we're not there yet, but we will eventually be getting there. But it is going to bring much drier air and much more comfortable air into the coastal bend. Then the little rotating arrows, that is going to be potential tropical cyclone 9, which will likely be Hurricane Helene by this point, that is headed toward the Florida Panhandle because it is in between that low pressure over Arkansas and the high pressure that's over the Atlantic. And that is going to enhance the southerly flow coming up out of the Gulf of Mexico. So our northerly winds are pushing anything away, anything tropical away from Texas, and those southerly winds are bringing up anything tropical toward Florida and the eastern United States. Now, a lot of this moisture could get wrapped around that low and kind of move into some of our plain states. I don't see that impacting Texas, but that's something else to keep in mind is there you have it, the tropical moisture starting to get stretched apart as it makes its way inland. But we're going to stay with dry air into Friday and the weekend, and so here's what you can expect it to feel like. Air temperature will not drop much. In fact, with all the sunshine I'm anticipating for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we probably will still be in the mid-90s. However, the dew point falls, the heat index falls. We're talking 92 Thursday, 96 Friday, 98 Saturday. 101 though, yeah, we start to go back up on Sunday. But that drop from 104 to 92, that's more than a 10-degree feels like temperature drop Wednesday and Thursday, and that's going to feel fabulous. I can't emphasize enough how excited I am for the way that that temperature is going to feel because of the drop in our dew point. So on the muggy meter, you see we're sitting right around that steamy, humid level. The cold front passes through. We're going to be comfortable, right at the edge of comfortable, at least for Thursday and Friday. Then we start to creep back up to humid levels Saturday and Sunday. For our rain forecast, we've got isolated chance of rain Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so 20 to about a 30% chance. And so we're getting some of those showers now. One did pass over the station briefly. We've got some across areas near the airport, Corpus Christi Bay, into Ingleside, Aransas Pass, Rockport region, Port Aransas, on the beach. There could be some tropical funnels. We've got light winds at the surface, stronger winds aloft pushing these storms inland. And so you can get tropical funnels that develop, not anticipating those to reach the ground. They have a better chance of reaching the ground over water versus land. So we could see some tropical funnels turn into water spouts, but at this point that's pretty rare. Not anticipating that. In Futurecast, if you're watching First Edition this morning, there is a decent chance that we see more inland activity after lunchtime. But for now, here's one of the views from our Lex camera and your hour-by-hour temperature forecast. So it's already hot here at the airport since it hasn't rained much there yet. With some rain hitting and missing, we may see those temperatures fall and rise and so forth. But overall, we're looking at 94 degrees or high, feels like around 106, possibly peaking around 108. Where is that 7-day forecast? That's what we're going to end this on. And I appreciate everyone that tuned in and watched. We'll have all the latest information tomorrow between 10 and 10:30 for the start time. It is delayed if names get changed from the National Hurricane Center, if they decide to upgrade it tomorrow at 10 to a tropical storm or hurricane or so forth. That does delay the process a little bit, but I try to get on as close to 10 as possible because that has all the new information and we can get it out to you as fast as possible. But for now, I will be signing off. Thank you again for watching, sharing, liking, commenting. I appreciate it. I hope everyone has a marvelous Monday, and I hope that you're looking forward to Thursday as much as I am. Sincerely, I'm Meteorologist Carly Smith, signing off for 3 News First Edition and your weather impact forecast.